There are occasions when a straightforward problem-solving approach will not suffice. It's not easy to come up with effective answers to difficult challenges, but the correct approaches, methodologies, games, and creativity exercises can help your team be more efficient in the process. Keep in mind that not all challenges are the same, and diverse problem-solving strategies are required by businesses of various sizes, phases of operation, and industries. The team aiming to deliver the solution is also likely to be different. At this scale, most of us will not be involved in issue resolution, but you should be aware of at least one method that's used in larger problems so you're prepared if you are faced with needing to solve a problem of that scale. One of the longest-standing methods is called PERT, Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It was developed by the U.S. Navy in the 50s and it involves 8 steps. First, you start by stating the final event or goal of the project. You must ensure that the planning team identifies the event that must occur clearly. Second, make a list of the events that must occur prior to the final event. You don't want your team to be concerned about chronological order at this time, but you should look at anything that needs to happen for sub-events. For example, if I were opening a new restaurant, would prioritize hiring people and purchasing cooking equipment. However, I should point out that in order to train personnel, I must first hire them, then produce training materials, and finally, in order to hire them, I must recruit them, and so on. Third, you assess the order of events. Your group should list all of the events that must take place and in what order they must take place. You should note which events are dependent on others and hence must come first, as well as items that can happen at the same time. Fourth, once you have the timeline, you should create a diagram that connects all the events in chronological order. I have seen these cover entire huge walls, but they can also be created digitally. Fifth, now you should lay out the specific activities that need to occur between events. These should include strategic action plans for moving from event to event, resource acquisitions needed, etc. Now, sixth, at this point, you and the team should identify the amount of time needed for the whole project, including breaking down the specific time needed for each sub-event. Seventh, you've likely been thinking about feasibility throughout the process, but at the second-to-last step, you should take a full and detailed look at all of the steps, events and components of the plan. Now, ask yourself the big question, is it feasible? If it isn't, figure out why not and what adjustments need to be made to make it so. Maybe you have to consider extending the project. Honesty and openness are key here. And the final step, you need to isolate your critical path forward. To keep the plan on track, you and your team should identify the more crucial and challenging activities and make sure that resources are provided where they are needed. As I previously stated, this technique is frequently utilized for very large projects, but it does not mean it is exclusively useful for large organizations. Even if you lead a small team, you may occasionally need to make significant changes that involve many minor or laborious components. Taking the effort to plan ahead of time can mean the difference between crashing and burning and pulling off something spectacular.